everyone. I hope everyone has enjoyed the wonderful meal we've had this evening from the Clarion staff. A lot of their workers are in here this evening with us. So how about a round of applause for the meal? How about a round of applause for that cheesecake? That was good. Yeah. I chose my chair over here at my table by which topping was on the cheesecake. I wound up with my back to the stage, but that's okay. Well, we wouldn't have the opportunity to honor our teachers as we do without the generous support of our Crystal Apple sponsors. These are the businesses and community members that have helped us make this event such a success this year. If you are a representative of the following sponsors, please stand to be recognized when I call your name. A presenting sponsor, Boers Law. Technology sponsor from Cox Communications. Video sponsor, Collins Media and Design. Our gold sponsors are the Clarion Inn, Commerce Bank, Black Hills Energy, Fry Eye Associates, and Wheatland Broadband. The silver sponsors, the Garden City Telegram. Our bronze sponsors are American State Bank, Finney County Convention Visitors Bureau, Golden Plains Credit Union, Hutton, and Reeve Cattle Company. Our crystal sponsors are Garden City Public Schools Foundation, Gibson, Mancini, Carmichael, and Nelson, and Lewis, Hooper, and Dick. Our Friend of Education donors are Linenberger Jewelry and Shepner's Water Conditioning. And as previously mentioned, this year's presenting sponsor is Boers Law. I would now like to invite Laura Blake Boers to the podium to provide her insight on the Crystal Apple Awards and the dedication of our local teachers. Laura?
Thank you, Shelby. I think each year we have an issue with the microphone when we switch over between us. Good evening and a good welcome to the 2019 Crystal Apple Awards Banquet. What a great capstone to American Education Week. I am truly honored to be the presenting sponsor for this very special event, recognizing some of the best teachers that Finney County has to offer. I would like to thank several people for coming to this evening's event. Senator John Dahl, Representative Russ Jennings, Representative John Wheeler, and State Board of Education member Jean Clifford. The last few years have been difficult for education in Kansas, particularly public education, but there has been one man who has led a state charge to protect and encourage our teachers and guide the way to innovation and success for Kansas students. He has made it a special point to either drive the 10,000 miles or so between Topeka and Garden City, or hijack the governor's plane to be at our event for the last 3 years. Dr. Randy Watson, our Commissioner of Education. Thank you for coming. The next group of people that I always like to recognize, since I was once in your ranks, are the people who actually made it possible for our teachers to be here this evening. The parents who pushed and prodded their future teachers, the spouses, significant others, and children who have waited for that bulletin board to be finished, the laminating machine to free up, and the last paper to be graded. If you are a member of one of our finalist support systems, if you could stand to be recognized for your contribution to the education of Finney County kids. And my mom would have hated that I started it that way. The last few years, I have had a running gag about release time, PLC time, or in-service credit for our finalists because of all the hard work that they have had to do to get here tonight. Every year, there has been one person that I've reached out to in order to make this happen. Each and every year, he gives me the same response. No. But do not let this comment from him detract from the support that he provides the teachers and staff of USD 457. When I asked him this year, again, he told me, quote, "These are my best teachers. I need them with our students as much as possible," end quote. He also usually says he hopes you enjoy dinner. I have learned a great deal from this individual and appreciate the hard work and dedication that he puts forth in continuing the innovation that our district is known for and allowing the teachers and the community to have a voice in the decisions of this district. Dr. Carlin, thank you for everything. But where does that leave me for this evening? I am glad to say that education has not been making the headlines that it once was. The Supreme Court and the legislature finally worked things out. Good job, representatives. Which makes KJ Knowles' job a lot easier as our chief financial officer. We are not constantly in front of the legislature about what our state standards should be. There is finally some breathing room to allow our teachers the opportunity to innovate. I'm going to steal some thunder from a previous presentation that Dr. Watson gave to the Kansas Association of School Boards. Just so you know, Dr. Watson, someone was listening that morning. Do you know how we came to have schools the way that we do today? A lot of it is thanks to Henry Ford, from what Dr. Watson tells of it, moving from one-room schoolhouses to essentially an assembly line producing students who were ready for the workforce at the time. But the world that existed at the turn of the previous century no longer exists. Our teachers are doing the best that they can to teach and train students for a world that no one can really imagine. Today, we have teachers who provide a safe environment for their students so they can be creative and engaged by moving, music, games, and providing alternative seating in their classroom. Using music to help students with place value charts or base 10 blocks in a game for kids who need some sort of concrete representation of the numbers. Writing tweets for Hamlet while enjoying the flexible seating in the classroom. Giving kids who historically no one would have looked at or thought worthy of anything a business to run, and run it well they do. From what I understand, they have all the coffee orders memorized, especially for Mrs. Principal, also known as Mrs. Nordby. Maybe I shouldn't be giving this secret away, but students may be doing hand actions in their labs taught by a teacher during state assessments, trying to remember a term or concept when they're a little under stress. And silently rehearsing music, which requires zero talking while working through a musical piece. As an aside, I know some of the students in that classroom, and getting them not to talk is a miracle. The structure and safety and the unique twist that these teachers give will serve as a strong foundation for their students as they grow and excel in whatever field they choose to pursue. Thank you to the CARE Committee for their dedication and hard work that they put forth every year. Each year it becomes more and more difficult to choose who the winner of the Crystal Apple should be. But we all know who the real winners are, don't we? The students of Finney County. Best of luck, finalists.
Thank you, Laura. By the way, I'll bring that back up to PD Council again this year.
Sounds
To
good.
see if we can get that on there. Okay. We'll have a sign-up sheet at the back. All your teachers know what that means. Name, homeschool, initials will be good. I'll bring it up at the December meeting, Mr. Carter. I got you covered. I would like to also add some special recognitions from the Chamber of Commerce for this evening, some distinguished guests and board members that are here. Please stand when I call your name. Dr. Randy Watson, Kansas Commissioner of Education. Kansas Board of Education member, Gene Clifford. And Garden City USD 457 Board of Education members, Laura Blake Bors, Gene Clifford, and Dana Naniga. Also this evening, representing Garden City USD 457, Dr. Steve Carlin, our superintendent. Heath Hogan, deputy superintendent. Glenda LeBarbera, assistant superintendent. And KJ Knoll, our financial officer. We would also like to thank State Senator John Dahl. Representative John Wheeler. And Representative Russ Jennings for joining us this evening. We would also like to send a special thank you to the individual schools for providing the wonderful table decorations in support of their Crystal Apple teacher finalists. Well, you final six, here we go. It is now my honor to introduce you, our 6 finalists for tonight's Crystal Apple Awards. Please hold your applause until all are announced, and finalists, please stand as you're introduced. From Gertrude Walker Elementary School, Delana Billinger. Also from Gertrude Walker Elementary School, David Brager. From Garden City High School, Kelly Butcher. From Garden City High School, Mackenzie Johnson. From Garden City High School, Paul Lappin. And from Kenneth Henderson Middle School, Sarah Wise. This is the 24th year of the Chamber's Crystal Apple Awards. Over the years, we have recognized many outstanding educators from Finney County. If you are a previous Crystal Apple Award winner, would you please stand to be recognized? A complete list of all of our past winners is in your program this evening. Well, it's been my honor for the last couple of years as we get to this part to kind of talk everyone through how this teacher recognition process works. But let me begin by saying this. This year, for our 2019 Crystal Apple Awards, we had 198 total applications for this year's awards. That is incredible. That's the most ever. That is the most ever. Well, the process is not really complicated, if you will, unless you're a teacher getting to fill out the forms. Then it becomes complicated. It begins with a nomination process, which can be done by any member of Finney County that you see know a teacher that you think is an award winner. You can nominate them. We've been able to do this the last few years thanks to the internet on the Chamber of Commerce website. You can nominate someone there. From the nomination process, then we have a group of committee members that come in and they do a blind read of the applications that our teachers have put together. From that, they will choose our final 12, and our final 12 then go through an interview process where they are brought down to the chamber using the boardroom down there, and interviewed by another group of people. I want to talk to that group of committee members. I was told by Paul Lappin that it only took about 15 or 20 minutes. Oh, come on. When I went through this, I stood in there for over an hour. It was more like an interrogation process. I'm going to get on that committee. I volunteer. From those interviews, we finally select our final 6 people that are here this evening, and they go through a classroom observation by another group of committee members that come in and observe them in the classroom. And as you can see, this is a very meticulous process that takes dedication from community members who serve on the 3 different committees. I would like to recognize those people if they are here this evening, and if you are, please stand to be recognized for your dedication to the Crystal Apple program. From Garden City Community College, Ashley Salazar. From Landmark Bank, Donna Meha. Debbie Reynolds from Spirit of the Plains CASA. Bradley Kowalski from Edward Jones Financial. Debbie Young from Golden Plains Credit Union. Donna Tanner from Commerce Bank. Brenda Reeve from Reeve Cattle Company. Kathy Deal from American State Bank. Beth Tedrow, a retired educator at Garden City Community College. And Deb Euler from Finney County United Way. We would also like to recognize the chair of the Crystal Apple Committee for their 16th year, Mr. Roy Cessna. And I would like to thank Mike Collins of Collins Media and Design, who worked hard to prepare the special videos honoring each teacher and their students for the donation of his time and services to the program. You really don't know how much I appreciate him doing that. If you'll notice in your program, for each one of our finalists, there's a nice bio in there. They used to not be in there. Before the videos, I had to stand up here and read them. So, Mike, thank you very much for your work with this. And now it's time for us to look at the videos honoring each of our 6 finalists.
At 5, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Once I kind of got older and was pursuing it, I always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. I love the little kids. A lot of people are afraid of them because they don't know how to deal with them, and they're not independent. They're so dependent on you. And I guess I just gravitate to them. I always have gravitated toward the younger kids. I want to help them. I want to, influence their life in a positive way. And I'm here for them to learn, but they can tell me anything, anytime, anywhere. I don't think I could do middle school. All those hormones. But little kids I can do, because that's what I love. Because I like to see them grow and just blossom into the little people that they are. One big thing that I probably do in my class is I let my kids talk. That's how they learn. My class is not a quiet classroom a lot of the time because they are talking. And if you really go and listen to them, they're talking about what they're learning. Well, I've taught for 31 years. This is my 31st. And one thing that really just inspires me is, even though it's kind of like a revolving door, you see things come and you see things go and they come back, the kids are always the same. That's what's really cool about it, is they don't change. In kindergarten, they are a pleaser. They want to please their mom, they want to please their dad, they want to please their teacher, and they want to make them happy. And they love you regardless of what you do. And when you're in a restaurant or shopping somewhere, you know, they'll come up and give you a hug. I've had them invite me to their quinceañeras. I've had them invite me to their graduations, you know. So, you know, you make an impression when you get things like that. And I love people and I love kids. So that just makes my job so much nicer.
At first, I didn't want to be a teacher. It was a family profession. I have a lot of relatives that are teachers, but I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that. So I tried out a lot of different classes about careers when I was in college. Finally, it just called to me. I mean, it's just what I wanted to do. It was the only thing I could see myself doing that would make me happy. And I wanted to make a difference in the world. You know, I wanted to do something where I could have a direct positive effect on society. And I thought, well, what better way than teaching and shaping the young minds of today's children? I didn't really have a destination in mind to go to when I got done with college. I just wanted to go somewhere else. I wanted to try living in another part of the country. And Garden City was at a job fair at the Minneapolis Convention Center. And boy, whoever was working that day really sold it to me. I wanted to try it's not my town, you know. I didn't want to be in a big metropolitan area anymore. I was like, Garden City, here I come, and I've been here ever since. One of the best ways to connect with students is just getting to know them for the individuals that they are. Every morning I say hello, I greet my students by name. That took me a while with 50 students, but I kept on practicing and I got there, and it's taking an interest in their lives. Asking them, hey, what's going on with you? How was your weekend? Another way that I like to connect with students is on Fridays, I like to invite someone to have lunch with me. Then, you know, not talking about academics and just getting to know them for who they are. You know, listening to them, have conversations on what they want to talk about. It's very interesting at times, so listening to what they have to say. Seems to blow their mind that I know how to floss the Fortnite dance, so. So I can incorporate music. There's all kinds of good math songs on YouTube that you can look up. Try to get up and get students moving. You know, maybe they can skip count while they're doing different exercises. We also incorporate technology into the classroom with iPads. So there's different programs that you can use for that. There's a program called Nearpod, which is basically beaming an interactive PowerPoint to each student's iPad. What keeps me going are the kids. I mean, when you get to work with them and when you see a kid working really hard on something and then you see that light bulb go off above their head, like when they understand the concept and then they smile and they say, I get it, I understand this. That's what keeps me motivated more than anything else. You know, seeing yourself make that positive impact in a child's life is totally worthwhile to continue getting up every day.
Well, I actually come from several teachers are in my family. Education was super important for my grandfather. He put all 5 of his kids through college, paid milk check by milk check for the dairy farm, and education was something he said no one can take that from you. And my student teaching was really rough. I had a really rough teacher. She pretty much told me I didn't understand kids and wasn't going to be cut out for this job at all, and I should quit. And I literally sat down and said, okay, why are you doing this to yourself? Because you hate going in, so what's wrong here? And I loved my kids. I taught 7th grade language arts, and it was so fun. To have her say that to me, it was really hard. And I literally said, I love those kids, so no matter what happens, I'm going to be there for them. And whether I'm good at this or not, I guess we'll find out. And I said, I'm too far to stop now. I had less than 3 months left to finish my degree. The ultimate question, is how do you inspire kids to do what you want them to do in an English class? Because let's face it, no one wants to write a 5 to 7 page research paper. That is not fun for anybody involved. My thing is, if you're going to give a presentation to someone and say, this is my idea, we should do it, well, how are you going to convince them that your idea works? So if you can't argue effectively, then how are you going to convince them to do what you want to do? So my job is to teach them, yes, how to write, but also how to think, and then how to present that thinking in a way that others will respond to it and be able to work it out. So when that happens, when they start figuring out that there are more than one way to look at a problem and more than one way to look at a a piece of literature or text, that's when it gets really exciting. Yes, I teach English. Yes, we go over Shakespeare. We go over proper writing. We go over how to argue effectively. I teach them how to also fill out an application, fill out a resume, fill out a cover letter. And so to me, that's what's really important is, am I treating you as an adult, and am I helping you be a successful adult?
I was a lifeguard and I always taught swim lessons in the summer, and I had a teacher's son, and she watched me all summer long, and she ended up sending me a thank you note at the end, and it said, "You were so good with these kids. Do you ever consider being a teacher?" I remember in 5th grade, my first band teacher, we had very simple stuff that you're learning how to play, including, dynamics. This is soft, this is loud. And for some reason, I thought I was going to be really funny one day, and I played super, super loud and then super, super soft, and then he made me the example because it was so good. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I am good at this. Maybe that was really what he wanted. And, going all the way through high school, I go to camps, and it's just like, this is just where I'm meant to be. Band is basically a giant group project all the time. You'll have some classrooms where they break off into their little pods and they have a small group project, and that's great, but it is one giant group project all the time. There's no one person that's more important than the other. There's no varsity and JV band. We're all on varsity. We're all important, and we stress that all the time. It's important because it teaches you how to, get along with other people, even if you don't necessarily like them. But high school, I think, is fun because you can give them guidelines, and then at the end of the day, they're completely in charge. Like, we've taught them everything they need to know for this marching show, but at the end of the day, you pass off the baton. Literally, the drum majors take over, the kids are performing. My hands are absolutely clean. I've got nothing to do with it anymore, and it's really cool to see them take charge. And although we have almost 200 kids in the marching band here, in a school this size, it's only about 10% of the population if you think about it. So it's really cool that we have as many people that we do in it here, because that's just going to continue. It's the relationships with the kids that you keep coming back to, and being able to see them start here, and then they're an adult in the community, and they're doing what they like to do, whether they're going to be an eye doctor or that they're going to go and be a music major. So that's the really cool part, is being able to see kids as long as we do. And then they will always, always say, "How do you Walmart," wherever, because the relationships last. And that's really neat.
I started coaching my sophomore year in college at the high school level. When I was a senior, I got a job as a head coach at one of the high schools in Lawrence. So they gave me a para job to get started with, or just so I could be in the building. And the more I worked with those kids, the more I realized how much value there was in it and how much they need somebody to help them. And I just thoroughly enjoyed going to work every day and working with them. So at that point, I started taking special ed classes alongside my undergrad, and here I am. When I took over the job, they did a little bit of coffee sales to a couple of teachers in school. And being somebody that likes coffee, it's like, man, how can we make this thing grow? So we started with just my friends that were teachers, and hey, what do you think if we came into your class and sold stuff every day? Okay, and I think we started with 16 classes that first year, and now we're up over 80 every day. Our day starts with getting the cards set up for the day. We do a lot of things to help kids understand the organization part of it. We have pictures in the classroom that show them exactly how the cards should look every day. And then we have charts that show what order our chips and stuff should be in. And then the next 3 hours, we go out and sell on 3 different carts, and they will hit 80 classrooms all 3 of those hours, so 240 classrooms a day. Then when we come back, we make cereal bars for the next day, and then our last hour of the day is just cleaning up where we're working on those independent living skills. So our goal is to teach kids things they need to be independent. Just simple things like being able to wait their turn, how to talk to people appropriately, how to communicate their wants and needs, counting money, just understanding the value of money. And I think most special ed rooms, they work on those skills, but they do it in a confined setting. So the kids aren't out there and they don't know because they don't interact through extracurricular activities or things like that. But our kids, this program is able to teach the kids the same skills, but we're getting them out there. We're getting them visible. People know them by name. Over the past 3 years and some change, we've given close to $40,000 to either charities or somebody in a hardship. And this year we have a goal of giving another $15,000 away that we will hopefully be able to help somebody with. Just looking today, we've pulled in just shy of $39,000 this year. It doesn't include our cost, and the money part is cool. Like, that's a lot of money. But if you think of every dollar being an experience for the kids, or like, that's 39,000 exchanges between my special ed kids and the student body or staff that wouldn't have happened without this. Another thing that is cool about it is we had 2 of our girls last year that are now freshmen in college and going to be special education teachers. And there's 2 this year that say they want to be special ed teachers now too. But it's not me, it's the kids. It's just really cool that they saw the value and that they're seeing the same things I do, and like how much value there is in working with these kids.
I had absolutely no intention of being a teacher initially, but I married a teacher and I had my degree, but not in education. It was in English. I substitute taught here for a while, and I long-term subbed at the high school, and I started my master's in counseling, and I went to work at what was then Area Mental Health, and now it's Compass. And I was a case manager for a while, and so we were thinking about starting a family, and I said, well, I subbed before, I taught, and I enjoyed that. Okay, let's give that another shot. And so we talked to the school district, and they had a transition to teaching program. So I came from the non-traditional path. With my degree in English, it made sense for my teaching certificate to be in it, and I continue to enjoy doing that, helping the students understand what's going on and helping them take what many consider boring and helping them realize it's really exciting and fascinating, and they're emotionally invested in the stories and the tales. And so that's where my passion is. I also enjoy helping them identify their voice and get it on paper. I do different things to let them know that I really am interested in who they are as a whole person and not just as an English student. On my wall I have die cuts, and they tell me about things like what subjects their favorite subject is, or what athletic events they participate in, things like that. Let them know that I really care about who they are, and I'm not just here to do a job and check off the list that I taught you this. Oh, I really very much believe in having students physically engage with whatever, whether it's teaching them songs, having actions, things like that, that use the whole brain, that get them all involved. It helps them remember things, it helps them apply things. We have done things like when we do a close read, they have 3 parts. They have to annotate, question, and conclude. And if you see them working on it, you'll see them getting stuck on what's the next step. And then, so there's different actions and things like that that they've built into their, into the lessons that helps them remember. And it's those moments, the moments that you're frustrated and you're like, is any of this going through? Did they actually understand anything that I've taught? And then you see them using the actions on the state assessment. They're thinking and they're just going through something that you worked through. And yes, that transferred, they remembered. Or other teachers mention, oh, they said that you were talking about that. Oh my goodness, that mattered enough for them to carry it into another subject and carry that over. And those little moments are little rewards, little bright points that help the darker ones not seem so dark.
Wow, that was outstanding work. Thank you. Thank you for your work on the videos. Well, now it's time for us to get our 6 finalists up here on the stage. I'm going to begin with the principals to bring their finalists up here. So as I read your name, I would like to invite you to bring your principals representing our teachers to escort their teacher to the front of the room. Each principal will then introduce their teacher from their school, who is a 2019 Crystal Apple Teacher finalist. Our alphabetical order of the finalists is as follows: Amy Hollinsworth from Gertrude Walker Elementary. Amy?
So it is my pleasure and an honor to introduce Delana Villinger. But she's been teaching for 31 years, but what she didn't tell you is that 23 of those years have been in kindergarten. So just think about that for a second. 23 years in kindergarten. I was one of those teachers that were afraid of the kindergartners, so I understand. She's a definition of dedication. She's incredibly dedicated to her students and their families and to her teammates. Delana never gives up on a student. She makes her students' parents, her partners in education. She will bend over backward, forward, sideways, or any other direction you need to help one of her teammates. And my favorite thing about Delana is that she does all of this with a smile on her face. On a good day, she smiles. On a bad day, she smiles. Leading 20 kindergartners, walking backwards down a hallway, stopping every 10 feet to redirect, she's still smiling. So congratulations, Delana. You deserve it.
And again, I get to introduce Amy Hollingsworth from Gertrude Walker Elementary School.
So it is my pleasure and honor to again introduce one of our awesome teachers at Gertrude Walker. David is a fifth-year teacher. Delana was actually his mentor, so this is a double win for Delana. He's young as far as teachers go, young in the real world as well, because we're about the same age.
Thank you.
But even as a fifth-year teacher, he when the opportunity arose for him to become a mentor, I didn't even hesitate to ask him, because every day when I walk into his classroom, I always know what I'll find in there. There's a room full of engaged students. David wins over his students by bringing his very best every single day. His students' time on task is about as close to 100% as you can get for a class full of prepubescent 9 and 10-year-olds. Not only are his instructional practices and his classroom management on point, he also excels at building relationships with students. David truly knows his students and treats them all with dignity and respect, which they return to him. And I almost never visit his classroom without getting a good laugh from one of his jokes. So congratulations, David. Good job.
Mr. Ryan Ming from Garden City High School.
So it is my privilege to introduce to y'all Miss Kelly Butcher. Miss Butcher teaches students in the Trades Academy at Garden City High School. For those of you who do not fully understand what that means, the majority of her students enjoy electives in welding, construction, mechanics, and ag sciences. To get them interested and engaged in grammar, composition, literature, and research takes a lot of passion, planning, and love. Kelly has an innovative approach to classroom management. She uses an online app called Classcraft that is engaging and motivating to her students. Her classroom is one of the most inviting spaces in our whole school. She invites community members into her classroom to provide authentic learning experiences for her seniors as they prepare to enter college and the workforce. Over the past 4.5 years, she has volunteered hundreds of hours of her own time to assist the GCHS robotics team. She has served as a mentor teacher for new English teachers in our building. She volunteers to record notes in our weekly PLC meetings, which is much appreciated. In her sparse free time, she even bakes desserts and goodies for our academy staff on their birthdays. We appreciate her so much, and we couldn't be more proud of the professional that she's become so early in her career. We're glad that she chooses to make Garden City her home away from Michigan, and we're happy that her family was able to make it on our special night here. So, Miss Kelly Butcher.
Next up will be Dr. Roger Singh from Garden City High School.
Ladies and gentlemen, this evening it's my honor to introduce my staff member, Mackenzie Johnson, as a Crystal Apple nominee. Excuse me. Miss Amel. By the way, these Amels that I have on my shirt are the years that I didn't win, so keep at it. Mackenzie has worked at Garden City High School for 5 years, working as assistant band director, jazz band instructor, drumline and director, and the leader of the music department. Among her accomplishments is the noble task of becoming a commissioned composer for Kansas Wesleyan University, the premiere of her original composition for band celebrating the passage of the 19th Amendment in honor of women's suffrage, entitled Shine On. Along with this, Mackenzie spoke on an all-female panel of established composers. Mackenzie is also currently arranging Debussy works to be premiered with Garden City High School's Wind Ensemble, and she is active with the Pitt Orchestra for our music theater productions, as well as Flatland Big Band, professional big band ensemble. Finally, Mackenzie will complete her master's degree in music composition this spring from Fort Hays University, which she has completed while teaching full-time. Congratulations, Mrs. Mackenzie Johnson.
And from Garden City High School, Mr. Ryan May.
I told him it was his call. He went for it. It's my privilege again to introduce someone from our academy, Mr. Paul Lappin. Fun fact, I first met Paul when he was running around in diapers at my mom's daycare back in the mid-'80s. His mom remembers those days. He teaches students from all over our school, but he's housed in the Trade and Health Academy at Garden City High School. He teaches life skills curriculum that offers students everyday practice and personal social skills, hygiene, independent living skills like cooking, clothing care, work skills, functional academics. His lessons are delivered each day at a real-life, fully functioning coffee and snack business named the Buffalo Coffee Shop, as you guys know. Fully stocked coffee carts now roll out in each academy throughout the day, meeting the nourishment needs of the staff and students. With guidance from Mr. Lappin and his staff, the students prepare the drinks and snacks, and they practice customer service, and they clean up each day. For the last year and a half, Mr. Lappin's classes have included a handful of students in each period from the mainstream student population, and those students serve as peer leaders. This model provides a mutual benefit to the students on both ends of the spectrum. It's now a common occurrence for Paul's classes to have visitors from area schools hoping to replicate the success of the Buffalo Coffee Shop. Proceeds rate, you've had Dodge City, you've had Holcomb, you've had Hugoton. The word is getting out. The proceeds rates from the programs make the program self-sufficient, and they also, as you guys have heard, they go to those in need as well. There are even Buffalo Coffee Shop scholarships that are now awarded to outgoing seniors, which is an awesome thing. Simply put, Paul and his staff's innovative thinking has transformed GCHS into a more inclusive and accepting place to learn, work, and grow. It is impossible to leave the coffee shop or the coffee cart without feeling happier. Perhaps the greatest validation from him, he mentioned this in his video, I think, comes from those peer leaders that go on and want to become teachers themselves. This desire has been expressed by several, as he talked about. And oh, by the way, he coaches a little wrestling on the side. He's been a head assistant coach on 4 state championship winning teams. Not too bad. Mr. Paul Lappin.
In the words of Mr. Maine, fun fact, former students. From Kenneth Henderson Middle School, Mr. Jared Stoppel.
Good evening. It is my honor to introduce Sarah Wise as one of this year's finalists for the Crystal Apple Award. Sarah has been a teacher in Garden City for 18 years, 3 as a long-term sub at Garden City High School, and the past 15 years as an English teacher at Kenneth Henderson. She is currently a 7th grade English teacher at Kenneth Henderson. Sarah has a lot of wonderful qualities about her. One is she is always willing to help out. She's involved in a lot of different things at KH. She is the department head of the English department. She is on our building leadership team. She is on the student assistance team. She is our process manager for our KISA program. And she has also mentored many of our new staff members. And we're very grateful of that. Some other qualities that Sarah has, she really tries to build relationships with her students. She believes and demonstrates that on a daily basis. It is important for our kids and for Sarah that they know that she cares for them as a person and not just as a student. And this allows her students to know it's okay to invest in her class because she cares for them more than just a person in her seat. Sarah also believes in having clear structure and expectations, and it gives her students a sense of security and stability for the short amount of time that they are in her class. On behalf of the staff and students at KH, I would like to congratulate a great educator, but an even better person, Sarah Wise.
Ladies and gentlemen, our Crystal Apple finalists. One more. Well, the time is finally here to announce the 2019 Crystal Apple recipients. We will have 2 separate award presentations. Our first presentation will be the announcement of the 3 Crystal Apple finalists, and the second presentation will recognize the 3 Crystal Apple teachers for 2019. I would like to ask Amber Friend from the Garden City Telegram to step forward to present $250 checks to each of the 3 finalists. And also frame certificates will be presented by Cecil Obrey on behalf of the Clarion Inn. Our first finalist this evening from Gertrude Walker Elementary School is Delana Billinger. Our second finalist from Garden City High School, Kelly Butcher. And our third finalist, David Brager from Gertrude Walker Elementary School. Teachers, you represent the principles and dedication this award is meant to display. Thank you very much. I would like to ask our presenters to step to the front to honor our Crystal Apple teachers with their awards. Laura Boers from Boers Law will present each with their Crystal Apple. Kirby Boards with Cox Communications will present each with an Apple iPad, and $1,000 checks will be given by Red Garone of Black Hills Energy, Dr. William Fry of Fry Eye Associates, and Nolan Numerich from Wheatland Broadband. Frame certificates will be presented by Rich Hart of Commerce Bank.
Yeah, that's the small fry.
These three teachers have gone through an exhaustive process to earn the distinction of being named a 2019 Crystal Apple Teacher. Mackenzie Johnson from Garden City High School. Also from Garden City High School, Mr. Paul Lappin. And Sarah Wise from Kenneth Henderson.
I'm director. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2019 Crystal Apple Award winners. Each of our Crystal Apple Award winners will now be asked to provide a brief acceptance speech. I'm still waiting to give mine. We didn't do this way back then. First up, Mackenzie.
Yeah, I left that on. To be quite honest, I wrote this in the car on the way up here because this is very unexpected. So Thank you to everyone on the committee, all of my administration and colleagues. Thanks to my husband. I wouldn't be the teacher I am if it wasn't for him. And I'm really grateful for this recognition. We talk about love languages a lot, and mine is definitely doing things for other people. And everything I do for my students. And they mean everything to me, and without them, there is no me. So, thank you.
Paul?
All right, I hate public speaking, so you guys are going to have to struggle through my ums with me. And that's probably not the most impressive thing to hear about a teaching award, but it is what it is. I'm honored to receive this award. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for this. It's very gratifying to be perceived so highly by people in our community, not just the people that see us every day. Obviously, I have a lot of people to thank. Most important is the pairs in my room, Cindy Ortega and Sabrina Ortega. These women do an incredible amount of work in our room. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you. Administration, all the way from our building to ESC people, thanks for letting us do our crazy ideas. It's been fun. And then the student body and teachers in our school, I appreciate all the buy-in we've gotten and how everybody's embraced it. That's what's truly making our program special. I love my job. I rarely have a bad day. I honestly don't think that I'm that good of a teacher in a traditional sense. We've just come up with a program that works. I'm very thankful that I get to come to school each day and work with an awesome cast of students and adults. This program has had a profound effect on the students in the class and outside of it, helped build a positive culture in our school, and we've been able to help many people in our community. What I truly hope that we're accomplishing with this program can't yet be measured, and that is an understanding in our society that people with disabilities are just like all of us in here. They have the same wants and needs that we do, to be loved, to be a part of something, to have fun and be independent. Sure, they have struggles, but so do you and I. They may do things differently from others, but understand that is just how they communicate those wants and needs. They add a lot of value to the world, they're able to accomplish great things, and should be accepted just like anyone else. It's been awesome to see this program grow from one small class project to a staple at Garden City High School over the last 3 years. Can't even imagine where we'll be in another 3 years, but I can't wait to be a part of it. Thank you.
Sarah?
Wow. My life has not turned out the way I expected. If you'd have asked me 20 years ago where I would be, I would have let you know I was headed to New York City. And while I wasn't sure yet if I would be a lawyer or a reporter or a writer, I was sure I was never getting married. I was not having children, and I certainly was not going to settle down. If you'd have told me then that I would wind up happily married with two amazing children living in Kansas and teaching middle school, I'd have laughed at you. Much the way I'm sure God laughed at me all those years ago when I laid out my plans for him. Tonight I am so thankful that he did not give me everything I asked for, and instead he gave me more than I ever could have imagined. I'm very thankful for a husband who has loved and supported me and believes in me even when I don't believe in myself. I'm thankful for my family that's always there for me. I'm thankful for each of the administrators I've had the privilege to work under. Each one of them has helped make sure I was a better teacher than I was the year before. And I'm thankful for all of the teachers that God has brought into my life. I'm thankful for them being willing to share tips and tricks and triumphs and tears. I am the teacher I am today because of you. I'm thankful to the parents who have entrusted me with their oh so precious children. And I'm thankful for each of the students who have sat through my many mistakes and mishaps as I tried to become the teacher that I want to be. Finally, I'm thankful to the Garden City Chamber of Commerce and the members of this community who, unlike so many other places in the world today, still believe in the power of education. They support our schools and our sports teams and our clubs and our activities, and they support and encourage and lift up our teachers. For all of you, I am thankful, and tonight, to each of you, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much.
We would ask that each of our 6 finalists please come to the front and remain for pictures for just a few minutes, please. Tonight's event shines a spotlight on the very best educators in Finney County. These ladies and gentlemen bring dedication, enthusiasm, and professionalism to our classrooms each and every day. We hope that your evening has been a great and most memorable one. With just 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, we all have a great deal to be thankful for. And if I may, from the great philosopher, Red Skelton, good night and God bless.